Hey everyone, it's Sauce, and spring is upon us as evidenced by my need to move to a new filming location because the sun is just not cooperating anymore. Even right now, it's just going behind a cloud or a building or something. Maybe this will be the push I need to beef up my YouTube studio, which currently is a tripod, my camera, my microphone propped up on my laptop, which is all on a precarious stack of board games. So maybe it was about time anyway. I know some of you have already left winter well behind, but here at 9,000 feet, the snow is just beginning to melt. I still can't run on trails, and so I'm heading to the desert for some spring backpacking. By the time you see this video, I will already be in the middle of that trip, so I thought this would be an appropriate time to talk about some of the new gear that I'm trying this year. I should preface that a lot of these things are gifted, but they are gifted in the sense that I reached out to the brand and said, hey, I've been wanting to try this thing for a while, would you let me? And these are some of the brands that let me with no strings attached. A quick side note about that, if I am ever paid to talk about something, I will clearly disclose it. There should be no question in your mind whether or not I was paid to talk about a particular item. One, because that is the law per the FTC, and two, because I think it's important and that you deserve to know. However, part of the reason that I have like 4 different jobs right now is so that I never have to say yes to a paid collaboration if it isn't a good fit. I have way too much anxiety to try and recommend something to people that they'll be using in the backcountry if it's not something that I've actually used and like. With all of that out of the way, here is some of the gear that I'm really excited to try out this backpacking, fishing, camping, hiking season, and what pieces about it I'm most excited about, and maybe some things that I'm gonna keep an eye out for to see if it really is a good fit. So fancy. First up is the Nightcore 20,000 milliamp hour carbon battery pack. It's called the Carbo 20,000 actually, and it's supposedly the world's lightest 20,000 milliamp hour battery bank. I've had the same Anchor battery pack since the PCT, which has honestly been awesome. But since I've been filming more and it might be nearing time to retire that battery pack, I thought I would try something different. And because I do film so much, I do need a lot of battery power personally on hikes, but I prefer not to carry a ton of extra weight. So I'm going to see if this holds up to being lighter and just as functional as my Anchor. If it does work well, it'll shave over 2 ounces off of my electronics weight, which is kind of huge. It has a USB-A and USB-C port, and both of those are fast charge capable. I am curious to see if I'll be missing having 2 USB-C ports. I might have to change around some of my charging cords just to make sure that I can charge 2 things at the same time. But it's also possible I will find having the USB-A really useful because some of my items do have the USB-A port. I also know for sure, obviously, that my Anchor is durable. I've had it for so long and it still works well. So I'm curious to see if this one also stands the test of time. That said, I do trust this brand because my Nightcore headlamp has lasted me over 5 years as well, and 5,000 miles. So I am optimistic about this Nightcore battery pack. I will put up some quick specs on the screen for all the nerds out there who want the quick and dirty facts, myself included, so pause if you need time to read that. Another item that I'm super excited to try out that some of you may have seen already is the ultralight trail brush by Trail Stuff. I try not to be too much of an ultralight nerd, but I nerded out so hard when I saw this. This was one of those things where like once I saw it, I thought to myself, how has no one thought of this before? How is this the first time that this exists on the market? And I really needed to have one. It is a 2-gram toothbrush, 4.4 grams if you include the protected cap, that fits onto the hole that already exists in most of your backpacking sporks. It does feel a little silly. I can see like the non-UL nerds kind of laughing, but it's honestly much less silly than sawing a toothbrush in half and wasting a bunch of plastic, or using one of those little tiny ones where you have to put your whole hand in your mouth in order to brush. It just makes so much sense to me, and I just really can't believe that it didn't exist before now. It also turns your spork into a multi-purpose item, which I love a multi-purpose item, so I'm really excited about this. One issue I could foresee is needing to be a little bit more mindful about keeping my spork clean, but honestly, I should probably be doing that anyway. Also, I could see myself losing this little piece that you use to attach it. Hopefully, I will just be mindful of not letting it fall apart. The other downside I could see is it would be a little bit harder to replace on trail than a typical toothbrush that you could just pick up from the travel section. But I think with a little pre-planning, if you just order a few for resupply boxes, it shouldn't be a huge deal. And for those of us who are going on just like 1 week trips at a time, not an issue at all. I'm gonna do a little demo on how to attach this. Ignore my atrocious nails. So this is the hole in my spork, and you just put the toothbrush through. You want this, oh, I did it on the wrong side. You want the back side of your spoon where the indent is, and then you take the little indent on the toothbrush, you stick it through like that, and then you hold it in place, and it comes with this little fastener, and you want the wide part of the fastener facing up, and you just squeeze it onto there like that, and then you kind of just massage it until it rests in place so that the spoon or the brush is firm and not moving around. So we got it there and it's in its spot. And then now you have a toothbrush spoon, and the cap that comes to protect the brush also goes over it when it's on the spoon. Oops, I'm doing it wrong. And so see, that's like secure on there. The lips are keeping it from moving. And so you don't have to take this off every time you eat. Like, this is in place to protect your toothbrush, which is awesome. Eating, brushing. Next up, we have the stylish star of today's video, my custom Sam Bob fleece. I've honestly been eyeing one of these bad boys since one first crossed my feed years ago, and I finally got my greasy little thru hiker hands on one. I love MicroGrid Fleece in general as a mid layer. I find it to work really well for really good insulation when you put like a rain jacket over it, or without one if you want like a little bit more breathability. And it's so fun to be able to customize your colors through Sam Bob. And it's also great because you're supporting a small business. And while I still love my Millies, I'm so excited to have a custom colored MicroGrid fleece that is a little bit different and also is more accessible. I anticipate that this fleece will be accompanying me on many chilly mornings and camping trips, and I'm already dreading having to wash it because it's so soft. Next up, I am finally going to see what all the hype about alpaca is about. App Gear Co was kind enough to send me their Alpaca Fleece hoodie to try out, and this thing is super, super soft. And I'm taking it out ski touring, and it is so cozy and warm. I do sometimes get a little bit itchy with merino wool, so I'm excited to try out an alternative and see if that works a little bit better for my skin. I also think this is gonna be a really great layer for skiing and ski touring. I'm excited to see how it holds up as I use it as a base layer over the summer. Finally, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me talk about my Knoc Bess. I did a paid collab with them, but I'm mentioning them here purely out of excitement. This wasn't part of the terms. I'm really excited to have a lightweight alternative to single-use plastics, aka smart water bottles. Even though I do use my smart water bottles a bunch of times, I'm excited to have something that's actually intended for reuse and is more durable. I also really love that these are collapsible. There's a little bit of water in here, but that way when you're done using them, you can collapse them and put them somewhere compact for storage. I am going to be carrying a ton of water on my upcoming trip to Canyonlands. They're actually asking us to carry like 7.5 liters a piece. So this is gonna be clutch because I can drink out of this first and then collapse it so it's not taking up as much room in my pack. They are slightly heavier than smart water bottles at about 60 grams. That's about 26 grams heavier than smart water bottles. So for those that don't know grams to ounces conversions off the top of their heads, that is less than an ounce. To me, less than an ounce of weight is worth the trade-off to having something that is truly more reusable. I can never bring myself to carry something like a Nalgene just because it is so much heavier than a smart water bottle, but this I can stomach. I'm excited to see how they hold up over lots and lots of miles, and I'm also excited to see how I adapt not having to squeeze all of my water out of a smart water bottle. Having something that's truly collapsible, I think, will be a total game changer. I'm also going to be bringing one of their water bladders on trips this year. Again, I got sick of squeezing things out of smart water bottles, and I think it'll be nice to have that extra capacity. In general, just excited to try out some different methods for water storage and water filtration. Those are the pieces of gear that I'm most excited about trying out at the moment, but there are a few things that I'm still kind of searching for and I'm excited to try but haven't found the perfect solution yet. So I was going to open up the comments for recommendations if you all have any pieces of gear that you absolutely love within these categories and think that I should try. I've obviously done some research on these, but would love additional thoughts. First of all is pants. I just feel like I really need to be more diligent about protecting my legs, one, while bushwhacking, and two, from the sun. And it's just, I love hiking in shorts so much, it's been hard for me to find pants that I can commit to hiking long days in. I do love my mountain hardware pants that I found at a thrift store a long time ago. I might just rebuy those from the actual website because I put a hole in them from a barbed wire fence, or maybe I'll repair the hole. But I am curious to see if any of you have hiking pants that you absolutely love. My requirements are that they are breathable so that they aren't suffocating in the heat, but obviously are good protection from the sun. Next, I am in the market for a larger backpack for trips where I have to carry a bear can or like 7 to 8 days of food. I still really love my SWD long haul 40, but I figured I would open it up to the comments to see if there's something I should try. It's very possible that I will just order another long haul 40. The one that I have has been through probably like 3,000 miles at this point, so it's held up really well. And I love all the features that it has. But again, if you have a backpack that you think I absolutely need to try, I'd love to hear about it. Finally, I've been saying it for ages, but I really want to get into pack rafting, and I'm committing myself to this being the year that I finally purchased a pack raft. I've heard lots of great things about a few different brands, but also every time I go down the research rabbit hole, I get a little bit lost on which level of the different types of pack rafts I should get. Because I'm not proficient in whitewater yet, I get a little bit overwhelmed on like what all options I really should have. I want it to last me obviously for years as I get better and better, but it's kind of hard to tell if I need just the bare minimum for pack rafting or if I should do something a little bit sturdier to actually do some more whitewater. So I'd love any thoughts or recommendations if any of you have whitewater pack rafting experience. If you have any thoughts on what kind of pack raft I should get and what level within that brand makes the most sense. Any insight is much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this little gear chat. I know it was a little more informal than some of my videos. I am taking off for Moab soon, and I've been a little bit stressed. Things have been a little hectic, but I wanted to give you some insight into some of the gear that I'm trying out this year and hopefully will be taking with me on lots of my trips. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.